Hello and welcome back to Friday Minis. You would probably have heard of the term overloading before. Usually how we do that is with function overloading, and that means we have multiple versions of the same function. When you call it, depending on the inputs, your programming language knows which one to pick. Guess what? You can do that for operators as well. And in fact, in many programming languages, certain operators are already overloaded by default. Let's take a look at one basic example before we go into building our own, and that would be the plus sign. When you give the plus sign to numbers, well, it's a summation, right? It's your normal mathematical addition. When you give your plus sign to strings, string concatenation is performed instead. These are two completely different functions bound to the same operator, and well, which one happens depends on what types you actually give. That's the idea, that's the concept of an overloaded operator. And as it turns out, you can overload operators as well. Today, we'll be seeing examples in both C++ and Python. And the general idea is that, well, you are applying a function, right? You're binding that to a particular operator so that when the operator is used, that function is run and the right thing happens. We'll be seeing the code for these two languages side by side. We'll be doing the same thing, right? So yeah, hopefully this gives you a sort of broad understanding of this concept and how it can be implemented. Here's the deal. We're going to start off by building our own class. Usually that's why we need to overload operators in the first place, right? Because we've built our own class and we, well, want to do operations on it without using a function. Obviously your programming language isn't going to know what to do because it's a class you've built and it has no idea what the meaning of, all the attributes are. So we're going to exercise this by creating a point class. Very simple class, right? The idea is that it holds x and y. It is a set of coordinates. Before we do anything, let's write some driver code. Let's create 2 points, right? And well, if we try to print it out, we'll see that the points do indeed show. But when we try to add them together using a plus operator, we will get an error, and that shouldn't be too surprising. So yeah, with this in place, we can now go back and create our addition functions. This function will be run when addition actually happens. Python and C++ have very different ways of actually expressing this. In Python, you just use the underscore syntax. In this case, by just using the name _add, Python already knows what you want. In the case of C++, you do have to explicitly bind this function to the plus operator. Within the function, what we're doing is we're teaching our programming language how to actually add these 2 points together, right? Which is why our functions must take in another point. In the Python case, it's basically only taking in one other point because it's already working with itself. So you just need another point, right? And we can do the math. In the C++ case, what I've done is I actually take in both points and go from there. C++ also allows you to do it the other way, where you reference the item itself and add an external object to it. But in this case, I'm just keeping things simple by just taking in 2 separate points to add together. So yeah, essentially when we actually perform our addition, a brand new object is being created with the correct values populated to x and y. With this, we can run the exact same code at the bottom again, and you'll see that this time, we don't get an error, we get the actual answer. We now have the summation of the 2 points according to the algorithm we've created. That, ladies and gentlemen, is operator overloading in a nutshell. It's basically saying what I want an actual operator to do. At the end of the day, it's still just an extension of creating functions, except we bind the function somewhere else. That's all. At the end of the day, an addition is still a function that takes in 2 inputs and gives you 1 output. So yeah, hopefully it's nowhere near as difficult as it originally sounds, but that's all there is for this episode of Friday Minis. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, you're watching 0612 TV with NERDfirst.net. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my work and are feeling generous, you can shoot me a one-time donation on PayPal or sign up for a recurring one on Patreon. Of course, you can simply like, comment, and subscribe. You know the deal. For more videos, links to my channel and a related playlist are on screen. Thank you for your support.